Hey everybody, welcome to the very first episode of John Versus, where me and a new guest every week will watch a bad movie so you don't have to. With me this week, I wanted to start off hot, bring in somebody that has some experience, doing improv, thinking on his feet, cracking jokes, veteran of the Australian comedy scene, Richie Nemo Goodacre. Richie, how you doing today?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty good. I also have experience watching bad movies. I had a similar podcast, once upon a time, and like this was definitely it's definitely up there. Don't know what to think about this movie. I'm glad you're in the driver's seat in terms of trying to explain what's going on. Things happened, and I'm like, okay, yeah. Then that just they just seemed inconsequential to one another, and then it ended, and I'm like, all right, fair enough.
Well, I mean, one of the things that people are going to find out pretty quick as a theme on this show is I have a vendetta against Jagged Edge Productions and ITN Distribution. When they combine forces, ITN Distribution distributes a bunch of films, some good ones, some bad ones. When they team up with Jagged Edge Productions, it is abandon all hope, ye who enter here. And the movie we're talking about today is one of their newest releases. They all go directly to Tubi. So again, you're not going to necessarily have to give any money. I mean, I guess you'll be supporting advertisers, but you're not giving any money directly to Jagged Edge by seeing this on Tubi. The movie we're talking about today is Snake Hotel, not to be confused with Dinosaur Hotel, Snake Hotel. And first things first, I did find the box art, and always the box art for these movies is probably always one of the shining things of these Jagged Edge Productions because it like totally makes you maybe almost want to watch the movie. So if this was the movie, like some giant snake attacking like the Avengers building with helicopters attacking it, you're getting like a MonsterVerse level thing here. But unfortunately, none of this is in the movie.
It feels like that feels like a movie if it had like budget behind it that The Rock would be in,
It's Rampage 2.
Like Rampage 2 or something. Just almost like just from that cover, it looks like almost like if I had a woman in its mouth, like King Kong with a snake, or maybe and that would be bad, but it'd be much more. I mean, I can follow along what's going on than what we got, which wasn't even. We'll get into it. I didn't see any hotel anyway.
There's no skyscraper. There's big snakes, but not snakes that size. There's no helicopters. There's no explosions really. And while there are big snakes, they're big. We get big kind of like Resident Evil 1 sized CGI snakes. So I'm glad that the second boss it's the first boss in the first Resident Evil finally got its spinoff in a Snake Hotel, which to eagle-eyed Jagged Edge connoisseurs like myself, it's the same set as Dinosaur Hotel, which is a keen nod. A lot of the same, some of the same actors, some of the same sets, some of the same props. They are sparing no expense to bring you Snake Hotel. Richie, what's I mean, I think we had talked a little bit prior. The opening, you had said, if you just go to the cold open of this movie, you might think you're watching the wrong movie, right?
Yeah, it felt like almost very to maybe reference another movie that came out early. Was it this year? I think it was this year. Early this year, it felt very like like religious, like Pope's exorcist type thing, or like the voiceover felt like Anthony Hopkins type thing.
My dearest daughters, if you are reading this, then death has dared me to her table and stripped me from your lives too soon.
Like like the if you've seen the movie The Right, or things like that. It felt very. I mean, okay, this is very different to what I was expecting. Like, is there going to be some lore behind the snakes, and then that just goes away, and then then all of a sudden we transition to these these
convict girls. It's convict girls.
Convict women who are constantly called whores.
Whores must die.
Yeah, the movies start like a lot of the Jagged Edge movies start off like they're the strongest thing they do, the best thing they do. Maybe they should outsource this service. Is like they're very good at giving you like 5 minutes of like really dramatic exposition. If you watch like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, or like their Jack Frost movie, they always have like a really good opening that kind of sets the scene, and then like they just absolutely run out of steam. And you brought up probably the biggest problem with this movie right away is they do not pass up any opportunity at all for every single character, whether the character is a human, male, female, robot, just text on screen. They call every woman in this movie a whore at least 40 times a piece. It's whore, it's bitch, it's cunt, nonstop in this movie. And I know the C word isn't a big deal in Australia, but in America, that's a big no-no. We don't call women that, even though this is a British film. I guess it's okay there as well. But Richie, how did you feel hearing the word whore 140 times?
Yeah, I mean, it was, it's just one of those things. If you swear in general, like, and it just kind of wears out the. After a while, even after the first like 20 minutes, not even the whole thing, after the first 20 minutes, it's like, okay, it just feels like a kid that's learned to swear, you know what I mean? It's just like, okay, you don't need to like have swearing in all your dialogue. And yeah, it's funny you mentioned Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, because there's a chick in this movie that is from Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
There's a few people from Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey in this. If you look
I realized one of them,
the warden of the prison and the guy that gets bit by the snake in the cold open of the Snake Hotel, the first round you see, those were two of the trucker guys that try to beat up Winnie the Pooh at the end. And then the psycho whore in this movie is Piglet and Winnie the Pooh's captive in Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Yeah, and there might be some other people too. I think some of the minor characters are also in both movies, but that's what Jagged Edge does. It's like they have like 15 actors, they pick like 9 of them, and they make a movie every 6 weeks.
Yeah. So I mean, it's. I felt like watching this, it was like I feel like even Andrew Tate would be like, "Oh, dude, could just maybe chill a bit on the on the women for just be a bit more respectful."
It's so bad that like the main bad guy, I guess, Ms. Fang, who's played by Chrissy Wonna, who's in a bunch of these movies, who acts like absolutely horrible. It's actually horrible acting. I don't know what the hell she was trying to do in this movie. Has an android assistant for some reason, like a robot assistant named Clifford, which is played by 3 different actors in the movie. And Clifford is programmed to do one thing and one thing only, and it is to call women whores and to overlay the screen with old school 80s MS-DOS font horror. Horror all over the screen every 5 minutes.
I was trying to describe what the android looked like. He looked like a combination at one point between, like, I don't know, it was just like an android almost crossed with the villain from Terrifier. He's like a reverse Ex Machina. Like his face is like peeled away, but everything else looks real.
You think you have won the games because you are competent?
Yeah, or almost like just because of like the kind of almost like the babiness of it, like the killer from like Happy Death Day or something. And it's weird. Yeah.
And again, for eagle-eyed Jagged Edge connoisseurs, the Clifford the android in Snake Hotel is the prototype from the prototype. It's the same exact costume.
May I present Prototype 2.0?
They recycled a character like we were like. I mean, I guess they just imagine like, oh, hey, maybe we'll get people to watch one of our movies, and they'll never want to watch another one of our movies again. But no, some of us are dedicated enough to keep people away from all of your movies. So I will watch all your movies, and I will tell everybody not to watch them.
I mean, we can read that later. I read your Letterboxd review.
Yeah. I will read it later. I'll give everybody a full review of my summary. I will definitely do that at the end. But let's talk about the main meat of the movie, right? Because this is Snake Hotel. Richie, what do you think about those snakes?
They're they're not as big, and they're very what's the word?
They're shitty CGI snakes.
Shit looking. They're just very bad. Especially I think those at the. So we go from it's weird. We go from that transition from the comic women to like these two other people like trying to escape. I guess a hotel, but it never looked like a hotel. And then like
it's a house. It's a big house.
It's a big house, and then like. But yeah, like, and then she gets cornered, but she never looks like the way that's filmed. Like, it's like she just stands there. She could run, and then
because this, and then the snake, the CGI snake goes over her.
Yeah, and it just like, okay, yeah, and it's like, yeah, it's just it's laughably bad. So yeah, and then it's like, oh man, they're gonna escape these killer snakes, but then as we'll get to, it's like, are snakes bad, or are they working with are they actually, I don't know, it's weird. It's just like, what I mean, like
they set up, they half set up a bunch of concepts in this movie. Like there's Ms. Fang, who's like the mother. Well, she calls herself the mother of the snakes, and she allegedly controls the snakes, but not really because they're snakes. And she makes it very clear, if we haven't made it clear enough yet, that these snakes, they will eat anything, but they love whore meat. They have to have juicy whore meat to get big and strong. That is said multiple times. It's on the screen, written out multiple times, that this is juicy whore for snakes.
Juicy whore meat for snakes.
I mean, I mean, if the snakes, if they're all going left just eat juicy whore meat, I mean, like, who are we to deprive them of their freedom? Eating juicy whore meat?
If you want it, okay. If that's, if that's your appetite, I don't want to starve you. You know what I mean? So, like,
yeah. And apparently this has been going on for a while. Mrs. Fang, every once in a while, she has Clifford the android do android stuff. He scans and he finds, like a nest of juicy whore meat. And he found out there was a women's prison. And so she goes and she just buys inmates to throw into the Snake Hotel.
Yeah.
And it's a game.
I don't know. I guess, like, I don't know. When I feel like you'd probably, if you're looking for like women to take this piece, or when you like find more like vulnerable women, not women who might have like a, I don't know, like badasses that could actually hold their own. I don't know, you know what I mean?
I guess there's just so much confidence in these snakes, these big snakes. And let's talk a little bit more about the snakes. One snake is clearly a cobra, but it acts like a boa constrictor. It constricts, but it's a cobra. Then there's just a regular ass snake, which I guess is like a boa constrictor, I guess. And then for some reason, the third snake is a coral snake, which is the least intimidating looking snake I've ever seen. But it's there and it's big.
I think that the producers or whatever directors like every snake, they won't notice. No one will do a podcast a few months later about analyzing this. So so any snake's scary, even though the coral snake not really. Not a scary snake. No, just in general, not really scary. Like you could have
And let's talk about these badass women characters, these inmates. Clearly, there's like trouble in paradise in the women's prison because we have the two main characters, Mia and Linda, are sisters, and all the exposition we got in the beginning of the father talking about them, which goes absolutely nowhere. You learn that the guy actually abused the two girls and they killed them. They killed him, and that's why they're in prison. And then you have Faye, who is referred to later on in the movie as the psycho whore, who she's like the secondary antagonist. She's one of the inmates, but she's crazy. And her only desire is just like kill the other inmates for some reason, just because she's crazy. No reason, she's just crazy.
There is.
And then there's three other inmates thrown in who you know are going to die.
Yeah. They're just like they're fodder. There's like you're there to die. It's I guess they're I know it's crazy. And they spend the majority of the time just bickering at each other, and then you're like, okay, you're all gonna perish. And then I mean, I guess if I had to pick someone who was like, I don't know, stand out, quote unquote, in the movie, I guess it was that she could play the psycho whore, but at least when she like did the full turn, like she was actually it seemed like she was having fun.
She does kind of play the same character in every movie. She's like the wacky one. Her name is Danielle Scott. For those of you who want to know, she's in almost every single Jagged Edge movie, and she plays some variation of a crazy PTSD, slightly off character, because I guess that's just what she can do. I want to point out another gigantic plot hole. I had the same problem with Dinosaur Hotel. Not that I expect these movies to be ironclad, but like even as you go through the movie, you realize that this is just a country, not a hotel, it's a country estate, and these snakes are just on the property. And then to jump ahead to the end of the movie, like the front gate to the property is like wide open the entire time. So if you're not feeding these snakes, why aren't these snakes just going to find food, like just leaving the property and like going and being snakes? Because clearly we're in England somewhere. They should be going off eating people, and people should know that these gigantic 50-foot snakes, 100-foot snakes exist because you're not feeding them enough whore meat regularly, I would think.
You wouldn't, when they just no way, I don't know. It's baffling. I don't. You'd think they would if the gate's open. Okay,
should at least be like eating deer, like going out there eating whatever forest creatures they have.
Maybe these people I got guarding me are incompetent. Maybe I can find my own like sort of my own whore meat or whatever. Just walking around.
Well, let's just talk about all the layers of defense that the Snake Hotel has, right? So Ms. Fang, has controls the snakes for some reason. She's also hired 2 mercenaries to like stand guard over these women so that they don't escape, even though there's 3 gigantic snakes that are going to eat all of them. Then she also puts constricting collars on all the women that she can operate by remote control. And then on top of all of that, Clifford the android is there too. So she's like, just so many, they just threw everything possible. So many antagonists in this movie.
It wanted to be. It's like it wanted. It's like a cross between like I don't know, like Saw and like Escape Room or something. Yeah,
it's definitely trying to be that on as low a budget as possible.
And
like just. It's obviously a movie where there's giant snakes, right? So they're going to run, they're going to hide. However, I don't know if it's just like no stunt work, poor stunt work. Like these women have never seen somebody run, and they don't know how to run. They look horrible when they run. They run like Bugs Bunny, like Looney Tunes characters. It is horribly choreographed running.
Yeah, I know. Oh, we'll get to horrible choreographs. That was not the only thing that's horrible choreographed when it comes to the women. But the running is pretty bad.
Are you talking about the fighting, like the choreographed fighting?
Oh, the fighting, yeah. Like, okay, so at one point, the psycho bitch, and that they she decides, I'm going to kill sis, and then and the other sister gets on top of her and then throws the weakest fucking punches I've ever seen. Like even Shane, in this wrestling room, even Shane McMahon would be like, "What the like, man? Those are what bad work."
Yeah.
Let us go.
And of course she's not selling the punches because she's psycho. She just gets punched and you just see blood appear on her face. And then later on, and this is a first for a Jagged Edge film. I mean, it doesn't happen too often in Jagged Edge films. Like the sister Linda bashes Faye's head against the wall or against like a dresser like 12 times, and like they present it like she's dead. And I was like, well, if this is a Jagged Edge movie, I guess they just killed her off. But she comes back later. Comes back as the secondary antagonist, I guess the tertiary antagonist if you count the snakes and Mrs. Fang. And she somehow now has a knife that is laced with snake venom.
Yeah, and she's also mumbling. I swear to God, she said, "Is it like potato pussy, potato?" Like it's
something like that. Yeah. Because she's crazy.
Potato pussy. I'm like, what?
And then if you didn't have enough stuff driven home about how wacky this movie is and how much they love saying the word horror, they also do like these really cheesy ass like old school 80s MS-DOS graphics all the time. Like it cuts away to like the thing where they have the screen mirrored 4 different ways and like really shitty graphics with the word horror enough times for you to, there's no way you'll ever misspell horror ever again in your life because they show you how to spell it at least 100 times in this movie.
Yeah, that they use it as like a screen wipe thing. That was like
they do that.
And it's like, okay, like cool. Like, are you trying to like be like a? Are you trying to be like a 80s like like are you trying to be Cyborg like a Terminator movie? Like what? Like are you trying to be? Is this your kind of way of like saying a bit self-aware and trying to be like kind of campy? I don't know. It's just
Terminator was like almost 40 years ago, and those graphics in Terminator blow these away. Like absolutely, it's like you would think Terminator is like is way in the future, like with regards to like the actual graphics. These are horrible.
I'll speak of like the opening scene, right? Okay, so we get the opening scene, but then we get the opening credits, and this is annoying. The dude in the opening credits is just talking through the opening credits to the point where it's just fucking annoying as shit. Like, they don't let music play or anything. So you're just reciting this stupid monologue.
There's a bunch of horrible sound editing decisions made. There's so many scenes that are kind of overlapping each other. Like two people are talking at the same time. Like it happens all the time in this movie. And then another thing that I guess we should definitely talk about if we're talking about like bad effects is like, of course, there's mercenaries. The mercenaries have guns, but they can't afford to have like even like blanks or weird ammunition. They just edit in muzzle fire that looks fucking horrible.
You fucking bitch!
And like there's scenes at the end where like Miss Fang's got a machine gun, she's shooting, and it's just like they just edited in like just sparks coming out of the front of the gun. It's like, what year is it that this is your best decision?
I feel like I studied like like film and like screen for like a year, and then like we used that there was a program Blender or whatever. I think this is basically
a video toaster.
Video toaster is basically
yes, I have a video toaster.
It's not even the one you pay for. It's just like I feel like they just use the free trial or whatever.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, can we just? There's meant to be fireworks. They just put them in front of where the gun is. It's like I think we've covered like most of the garbage in this movie. Like obviously everything. There's nothing redeeming. The performances are wacky. The misogynist, wacky performances. Even the women they're misogynist towards each other. Of course, the snakes turn on the lady who they should never turn on at the end of the movie. Don't mean to spoil the end, but they turn on her for no reason, just because she's there.
Well, yeah. There is very convenient times where, like the I guess our like a protagonist, I guess, should be dead, and then like the main android dude, I can't remember, but like it's like, oh yeah, well she's dead, and then like just have inexplicably the snake just eats him. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, why would the snake eat the android? There's no reason for the snake to eat the android. That's not horror meat. It's metal. Right?
It's metal.
The snake saved the protagonist every single time, and they never attack her. And there's this very long periods of time where like you don't see snakes.
Yeah.
And then at the very end of the movie, the snakes eat Mrs. Fang. Mia makes it out. She runs to the front gate, and if it couldn't get any worse than it already has, Mia breaks the fourth wall, looks right at the camera, and says, "Man, I can't stand snakes." Oh, and a barrel full of laughs ensue because, like, she talked right to us, Richie. She was talking to us.
I fucking hate snakes.
Telling us she can't stand snakes.
But before another thing we should have mentioned, the psycho bitch. She's running from on a roof or something, and she legit says, and I guess this is them trying to be clever. She goes, "I'm sick of these motherfucking snakes in this motherfucking hotel."
I am done with these motherfucking snakes in this motherfucking hotel!
That's right. Samuel L. Jackson was proud that he inspired this movie, that he could be homage paid to a movie he'll never ever see. And then the cherry on top of this sundae is if you sit through the credits, you get to see them. They give you they pull back the curtain and you get to see behind the scenes where they show you the storyboards for the movie and how the storyboards look better than the actual movie. And then they show like a big like a cast picture and they're just very happy. It's like, hey, thanks for watching. Look out for Snake Hotel 2, and it's with a question mark. It's coming. They can't help themselves. There's going to be Snake Hotel 2, and we're going to review Snake Hotel 2 on the show.
Yeah, I know.
We're winding down now, Richie. Is there anything we left out? Anything you feel like the people should know about Snake Hotel that we didn't cover?
Well, if you want me back, I'll be back for Snake Hotel 2. So, I'm in it now, and there was a Dinosaur Hotel too, right? So there's going to be a Snake Hotel.
There's more. There's Dinosaur Hotel, Dinosaur Hotel 2. I think Dinosaur Hotel 3 is coming out, and I think there's actually a Dinosaur Hotel: The Sacrifice. So those will all get covered on John Versus as well. But today we're talking about Snake Hotel. We don't want to confuse the people.
You don't want to confuse the lore here.
Yeah, exactly.
No. This was it was a wacky movie. I gotta be honest. I haven't checked out much of Jagged Edge stuff. I'm usually like when I'm looking at like sort of bad sort of films. I would tend to sort of go towards more, like Asylum, there's a Full Moon and all that kind of thing. So this is my
the good B movies, not the bad B movies.
I have dipped my toes into Jagged Edge before, can't remember, but this is the first time in a while, and this is pretty bad, like to say the least, and like. A lot of, I guess they got a paycheck. A lot of actors who thought they were in a different movie, hamming it up, especially the main villain. Look, if you want to have a laugh, I guess it's cool. But it's not even like I don't know. I don't even feel like it's schlockly. It's like schlockly bad. It's just like I don't know. It's just bad. I don't know. It's just. Yeah, I guess you can get some entertainment out of it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this. But it's I don't know. It's like fun for what it is. But yes, it's a
great way to spend almost an hour and a half.
Almost an hour and a half. Look, one of these things. They're mostly kind of short for what they are. They don't really overstay their welcome, I guess. So there's that. So if you got kick out of like Winnie the Pooh, Bun and Honey, for the reasons you should have, you might. If
you got a kick out of that, that's the best movie they've probably put out in a long time. So look at that. That is the pinnacle.
Yeah. So this is it was fun to watch. I wasn't sure I was getting into, and so basically you just what you should do is like Jagged Edge, especially you're like, okay, it's Snake Hotel, so it's probably not what it's it's probably going to be misleading and not be like a hotel. And that what I know is a hotel. There's no concierge, no really defined rooms or anything. No, like, no reset, but like, it'll be a hotel in the loosest terms. Like if you're going to get a very low budget thing where they're just reusing stuff, I mean, you can have a lot of fun in it, and it's
make a drinking game out of it. That's what you should do. Make a drinking game out of it.
Yeah.
But like I said, like Richie alluded to before, I will close out the episode by reading everybody my Letterboxd review of Snake Hotel. I did not go half star on this. I went a total of 1 whole star on Snake Hotel, and I'll tell you why. And here's my review. Here we go. When you read conversations that women share where supposed nice guys turn on them because they choose not to date them because, they have agency and shit. Just imagine if you fed those text messages to an AI bot and asked it to generate a snake-based survival horror movie with that exact tone, and you get Snake Hotel. Never heard the word whore used so much in a 90-minute span, and I've sat next to my teenage son while he plays Fortnite and Call of Duty over the internet with strangers, so that's a high bar. Did I also mention that this movie is just more recycled shit from Jagged Edge / ITN distribution? It's the same actors, same sets, same props, with no lessons learned. Fuck anyone involved in this piece of shit being available for public consumption. At the end of the credits, there's a group photo of some of the cast and crew smiling like they accomplished something. Newsflash, you didn't. This is 1 star instead of a half star because the misogyny goes so over the top that it feels like maybe it's self-parody. So I'm hedging my bets that this is a lesser grade piece of shit than most other movies from this production studio. I'm probably wrong, though. Did I mention fuck anybody who makes these movies? That's my big endorsement for Snake Hotel. Richie, where can people find you if they want to see more of you?
You can find me on the Movie Hero Network. I appear a lot of the time on Tournament Fights Tier Ranker. I do a wrestling podcast with friends Jacob Barber, Austin Pez Hal, and Jordan Pierce Owens, Lonely Marks. We should we record episode every Thursday, so check that out. I think the next episode we're going to be doing is talking about Crown Jewel and talking about the women PWI top 250. So it should be fun. Other than that, Lights Out. Got a match coming up on Lights Out. Got a match coming up on your league. I'm going to be on your league and I Love Horror. So check all that out, and and you might not know, I did all this. I watched all that. I committed myself to it. I watched all this all the while having COVID. So there you go.
Thank you, Richard. We appreciate you being here. If you made it this far in the video, like, subscribe, comment, share, tell everybody you can about it. Join the Facebook page. Come back for our other shows. Next week on this program, we're going to be reviewing Dinosaur Prison. Myself and Anthony Tisdall will be reviewing Dinosaur Prison right here on this show. And if you'd like other content on this channel, on Thursday, myself, my 2 co-hosts, Aaron Brooks, Abby Brooks, we're going to be reviewing It's a Wonderful Knife. That's coming up this Thursday at 5 p.m. And then we're starting the new Friday Why We Love Horror trivia schedule. We're going to have a doubleheader. It's going to be the #1 contenders match between Jeremy the Adam Adams, Hunter the Hitman Chambliss, playing for the #1 contendership in Why We Love Horror trivia. And we're also going to have a teams match with, Traps of Perfection, which is Henry Sanchez and Austin Pez Howell, who was previously mentioned, versus the Scream Kings, the 2 guys who are playing in the match before, Hunter Chambliss, Jeremy Adams, teaming up in the first round of the teams tournament. So much to do. Subscribe to the channel, get your notification bell hit, and you'll know when all this stuff's going live. Until next time, this has been John Versus. Thank you for everything.